It was a comment you made earlier about money management, and I want to ask you how you feel about the people that say you was mismanaging the money at Rockefeller.
That's just that's not even worth acknowledging. I just say mind your business. Like you don't know what you're talking about. Again, talking about another man's business is feminine. Me addressing other men talking about my business is feminine. The only time that I feel the need to address a narrative is when it's fucking with my money. But it's not fucking with my money right now. This narrative right now. But it's good that as you see, I have people I work with that will call me and find out if it's true. But just naturally, it's like they do make it hard for people to do corporate business with me with all this shit in the newspaper all the time, because most people don't use their own money, so they can't take chances. You understand what I mean? So like the people that corporate, they're like, yo, if you get it, like there's certain contracts, it'd be like if you get accused of something, not even convicted, you could lose all your deals. I'm a person that they just make shit up. I just got arrested by the FBI. This is a white man calling me, telling me this, and they had it in AI. That's how starving everybody is to put me in the algorithm to show me suffering that they make up visuals. It's like I'm more flattered that people care so much about my money. But I don't recall ever running around saying I feel like I'm the guy that's always been like I'm broke. Like hustlers don't say they got money because you become a target. The only time you say you have a bunch of money is when you don't. But that's for people that actually have had money. They would know. That's why I could tell the level of a person's, how much money they've made in their life by how they act when they hear certain things. It's like you should know better than that. If you had some money, you would know. So most people that talk about my money, like I said, you know, I don't think they've ever made a lot of money to know what it's like to talk about it. But I'm not judging them, but y'all talking about me. So just, you want to keep talking, keep talking. I don't mind the algorithm. I think any famous person that cares what the public thinks, if it's like, especially if it's not true, if it's not fucking with their money, I just think that that's an oxymoron. Like the people that hate you the most, they disguise themselves and they start to say things. People that hate you for no reason are cowards. You know, like if you got to fight with me, fight in front of me. Give me a fair one. And I'm getting older now, so it's like, yo, it's whack. I'm like 54. I'm never gonna be in my 20s again. You're never gonna see the 20-year-old version of Dame Dash again. But I did do a lot young. I did do a lot young. I retired at 35. I'm 54. Like, when can I relax and just enjoy my family and just do what I want to do? But again, I don't care what people say. I keep talking about my pockets. I ain't got nothing. I don't give a. Y'all need therapists. Y'all got some unrecognized trauma that you need to deal with so you could stop hating other people because you hate yourself. I feel sorry for those people. The test is, do I still do the right thing despite other people not doing the right thing? Of course. I like my life. I'm not going to make my heaven into hell because they're in hell.
Yeah, I know Cam, he said that you'll be set for life if you know how to manage your money. It was out of love when he said it too.
Again, I'm not, see, the thing about Cam is he's my little brother. He's from Harlem. And what he did, I wouldn't advise. And because he did it doesn't mean I'm going to do it. Him and I should have that conversation in person. I'm not here to have a conversation between my little brother for entertainment. But it seemed to me like he could potentially have done that for entertainment. But we'll talk about him and I should. And I know Cam. He'll avoid me for 3 4 years. But if he ever has an opinion, I think what would be, I don't respect when a man speaks about another man when they're not there. I'm not known for talking about dudes when they're not there. I'm known about for confronting people and having a conversation in their face. So I would love to have a conversation if he wants face to face, but I don't think it would be that same energy. But I love Cam and we'll deal with that. Like if you saw someone that's supposed to be an OG not acting like one because one of the people that are younger than them did something that you wouldn't do, and then it says, "All right, now I'm gonna do that," then that takes away from my OG-ness. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna do that for this platform. So it's all right. I'm not offended by the question. I talked to, like, other people from Harlem, and overall we decided, talk to him when you see him. But I don't think it's a good look for him to be talking about anybody's pockets ever. Like I said, it's not the most masculine quality. I'm not saying anything, not trying to disrespect him, but I just, it was something I never thought I'd see him do about anybody, nonetheless me, is talk about somebody's pockets. But you know what? The only thing I was just, wait, let me say this. The only thing I was disappointed to for Cam when he did say that, he didn't let the world know that every time he calls me, I still front on him. So when he calls me recently with all of these things, before he got upset because of whatever I said about 50 Cent, I'd be like, yo, we still fronting. So every time I call him, I'd be like, yo, I'm in a different house. Show me your house. I was just wondering why he didn't talk about that. Like every time he's seen me, he's never seen me look like I've mismanaged my money. It just seemed like it was promoting a narrative. What makes me sad about that is that guys like Steve Stout and other people are just laughing at us when they do that. And I just be like, why would you want them to get that satisfaction to see us argue or have a disagreement and, we could just talk? But I did wish I'd be like, why you don't bring up how much I be stunting on him? Like, pause till this day. Why he's not talking about that? That's what I wanted to know. Like, I want to talk about the fun. Like, literally, the last 3 times he called me, I was at different cribs and all had water views, whether it was a river or a lake. Like, how could you mismanage your money, but you paying for everything you do? How is that? Could that, you know, I don't get it. But, you know, it's just a narrative, I think, that's in the algorithm. But I'm looking forward to the conversation with Cam about that. I call British, I call people like, yo, call me. But it's all good. But my suggestion for that situation is that if you do have someone you respect and they did something you didn't like and they call you, don't curve, call. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't curve a call them, talk to them. And that should be the example that we had a disagreement, we resolved it, no one had to know. But like, don't, it's not a cool thing to say somebody called to talk about whatever you're upset about and you just decided to go talk about it on television. That's not the example that's not Harlem to me. But we keep going. But I love Cam. He's my brother. But I think sometimes being around like a Steve Stout or something gives him the wrong kind of effect and be worried about the wrong shit.